Hey everybody, my name is Robert Woods, founder of Banneret, the recruiting company for veterans, and you're listening to the Knight's Tale podcast, where we dig into the tips, tools, and tactics required for a successful transition out of the military. Thanks for listening. Every year, 200,000 people separate from the military in hopes for a better future, a better life, or maybe they loved the military and want to stay in the same location, retire, or go to school, become a doctor, a lawyer, a developer, a project manager. And all of these things start with a thought, which leads to an action, which leads to even more actions. And by the time you look up, you've accomplished or surpassed your goal. I said all that to say success is a constant state. Anyone you see that's successful keeps checking goals off their list. If you ever catch them on social media, you're like, dang, is he getting another award? Did he just get another degree? Did she just get another promotion? Like, what is going on? It's because we can't turn it off. And I was compelled to say these things because our guest for the day, David Nava, has walked the walk, and he takes great pride in what he does. He's programmed his mind to focus on nothing but success. And I'm really glad we were able to get in touch with him because I'm starting to see a pattern of success here, from Tyler Bashard to Tyler Brown, Thomas Hood, and a few other guests we've had. David Nava is utilizing the resources granted to veterans to catapult his way into success. And David didn't just go to school. He was getting 4.0s while he was active duty in the military. He's not just separating from the military without a plan. He's 1 year away from separating with a guaranteed job. He's the second person to mention the veterans program at Shift, and a company that focuses on veteran hiring initiatives at tech companies. With 20 years of experience as a leader in the military, he's plotted his transition with thorough precision, and I'm honored to have him on the call. In our conversation, we talked a little bit about his experience in the military, but mostly his laser focus on the details of his plans for his transition. So without further ado, here's our interview with David Nava. Today we have David S. Nava, who's a Navy officer and senior program manager currently, and he's seeking internships in tech and IT at the moment. And he's due to separate from the military within the next year. David, could you fill in any gaps or anything I missed?
Yeah, thanks, Robert. That's a pretty accurate description of kind of my background and what I'm targeting for my transition strategy.
Awesome. So can you tell me why are you separating? Like what's your story?
Yeah, so I've been serving as a Navy officer for the past 20 years in aviation, and I'm coming up on my 20-year mark. And so I'm just looking for, I'm fourth generation Navy. My father was Navy, my grandfather was Navy, great grandfather was Navy. So extremely proud to serve, and it's really all I've ever known. And I guess at this point in my life, I'm really ready to move on to the next challenge and do something different.
So I see that you have a lot of experience in the military and a lot of leadership experience. And I think it's really cool to see that you're like, hey, I'm still interested in internships. Let's just get into the corridor of the next opportunity. What was your mindset like, as far as that your transition goes? Like, you're willing to even take internships. A lot of the officers that I know, they're just like, hey, I better be making 120 when I get out. What are you thinking right now?
Yeah, so it's been a pretty lengthy journey. I started planning for my transition about 5 years ago. Based upon my military career, I had a very small niche and very tailored experience, which doesn't really translate well into the civilian community. And so what I wanted to do was kind of broaden my skill sets and make it applicable to a civilian career. So I went out and I got my MBA, and then I went and got a project management professional certification, and then my Lean Six Sigma black belt to brand myself as a program project manager. And I thought I was doing pretty good, but as I talked to more and more recruiters and headhunters and staffing agencies, they're like, that's great. You've got all these PM certifications, but what industry do you want to what do you want to work in? And that really stumped me because I had never worked in any other industry other than the military. And so I couldn't compare one against the other. I had no experience in any. So that's when I really started thinking about it. And the more I thought about it, the more it seemed like, tech and IT fields are always in high demand. There's huge opportunity there, especially where I'm at in Boston. And one of my goals is to be able to work remotely eventually, and to be able to work, as long as I want and kind of wherever I want. And so that would lend itself to a career in IT or tech. But in order to break into a brand new industry, you kind of have to, you have to expect that you're not going to come in at the level that you left the military at. So, I'm not going to come in at 120. Mm-hmm. And I need to really, in order to break into the industry, I have to develop relationships. Right. People can look at my background and see that I'm a project manager, but it's military application. And so what an internship allows me to do is to create relationships. And so I was approved for an internship with the Shift Fellowship, which is it's a DoD approved, Department of Defense approved fellowship through the DoD Skill Bridge program, which lets you take 3 to 6 months at the end of your career to participate in an internship program, and the Navy continues to pay you. And so I was picked up, and I'll start my internship in April in San Francisco with a small tech startup. And so hopefully I'll be able to use the relationships that I've built during that internship to move that into a career with that company. Or if not, then at least be able to have some experience in tech and IT that I can then translate into another job, maybe in the Boston area. And so it allows me to kind of break into and get my feet wet in an industry that I don't have prior experience.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Do you know which company you're going to?
I don't. They have partnerships with a wide variety of companies in the area, to include Uber, and a bunch of other companies. And they won't be able to let me know until I get closer to my date in April. But I've researched them all, and they're all amazing companies. Some are very, very new, and they're still receiving venture capital, and still kind of growing their business base. And others are like Uber, are well established, but are just looking for military talent to get that kind of out of the box thinking mindset, critical thinking.
Right. So do you think you'll take any time off in between your next tech job and in the military?
So I've thought about it, and I really would like to take a couple of months off and kind of go travel the world. One of the reasons why I joined the military, in addition to being able to serve, and because it's a family tradition, was to travel. But the reality is that in order to break into a new industry, I really have to do quite a bit of work. And so taking a 2-month break in between leaving the military and joining a new job is probably not going to be as realistic as I initially thought. If I was going to go into something that was a similar background, like taking just a PM role in a local company, potentially that could be a way, that could be a possibility. But if I'm following my current path, I probably won't get to take that, which then, it makes the remote work opportunity even more important, because then I can do my work from anywhere, and I could still travel. Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And it seems like you've really mapped out and planned out your strategy to a T. And, your education is kind of crazy. Villanova University, you're getting a master's certificate in Lean Six Sigma, or you've already received that, sorry. The Naval War College, University of Washington. It just seems like you've stacked all of your chips so well. And you've really made it. You kind of made a really good floor for yourself as far as your trajectory goes. Can you explain your thought process when you were going to South Regina University and got the 4.0? Like, you were just killing it. What were you thinking at the time? Because you were still active. So, like, what were you thinking?
So I jokingly tell people my transition strategy is based upon fear, but it's kind of true. I'm a single dad with 2 teenage kids that are getting ready to finish high school here in the next couple of years.
Oh man!
And so the opportunity to fail is not there for me. I have to transition immediately into a decent paying career. Right. Otherwise, I'm the only one putting food on the table for my kids. And so that's kind of what has driven me the past 5 years to get 2 master's degrees and a bunch of certifications in the project management realm, but then to continue to develop my skill sets and try to branch into IT and tech, I recently, I'm the guy that takes advantage of all the free programs that that are out there. And it's pretty amazing to be a veteran today. Because back when my dad was getting out, Vietnam era, much different climate, and people were not as supportive of vets. But now, you get online and there's, some 40,000 VSOs, veteran service organizations, that are providing a wide variety of service to veterans. And so, American Corporate Partners, I did a year mentorship with them. I took advantage of hiring heroes and had them look at my resume and provide some coaching. I've got 2 career coaches right now. I'm taking advantage of Candorful, which is a new service that provides veterans with mock interviews. I took advantage of the 4-Block program, which is a national veteran service organization that provides 10-week networking opportunities. And they give you a syllabus to kind of get your resume and your LinkedIn profile and your background in shape. And then they introduce you to a new company each week and teach you how to network. And that was huge in getting me kind of letting me figure out how to use LinkedIn to my best advantage and how really to talk to business professionals without using all the military jargon. And, so that was big. I take advantage of every opportunity that comes along. And currently, Salesforce is a huge growth industry. They have a customer relationship management platform, and they also offer veterans a free program where they will train them and credential them to be a Salesforce admin for free, which is about a $4,500 value. And so I'm going through that program right now. And by the time I retire, I'll have a Salesforce admin certification that I can also use as one of the avenues of approach, to get into the tech IT industry.
That's amazing. Yeah. And so like managing all of these things, how do you manage your time? Do you wake up early and go to bed kind of late, or what are your days typically like? Kind of crazy or what?
It helps to not have a social life, which I jokingly say, but it's actually, it's true right now. I'm pretty busy. And so I jealously guard my time. So I get up every morning at 4 a.m. and I jump on Salesforce and I do Salesforce for about 2 hours. In between, assignments at my day job, I'm on LinkedIn networking. When I get home from work, I'm either reading about the tech IT industry or also jumping back on Salesforce to continue working through modules to perfect my skill sets. And then on the weekends, I'm networking through one of several different venues that I've set up for myself. Salesforce offers something called a Salesforce Saturday, which is basically all the Salesforce admins and developers in the area get together on a Saturday, and you talk shop and you introduce each other and you network. There's also a networking event out of Boston in my local area that's kind of a local one that I go to once a month and meet industry professionals, or career professionals in the Boston area that are usually veterans. And that's been huge as well. I joined Team Rubicon, which is it's a nonprofit that does crisis response both domestically and internationally. It was started by a vet, and they have social events as well, as well as training opportunities. And so I've been doing that in addition, not so much to really network professionally, but more so to be able to give back to the community and to continue my learning plan, because I'm very, very passionate about continuous learning in all the realms. So I've always got a book in my hand when I'm not doing anything else. So that's kind of how I manage my time. I'm very busy. And because I've been doing it for so long, the past 5 years has kind of been my lifestyle. I'm used to it, and it's sustainable, and I enjoy it.
Wow. Yeah. And so do you have any time for, do your kids play sports or anything like that?
I've tried to get them into sports. They're more into electronics, so they're very big video gamers.
Yeah.
We've dabbled in wrestling and in soccer. One of the things that they do engage in regularly is Boy Scouts. I was an Eagle Scout, and so wanted to encourage them to join Scouts, and they've been big into scouting from the moment when they could join.
Nice. That is really cool. And I know you guys you recently moved, right? How was the move?
It was good. I moved because I'm trying to get closer to Boston, which is the locale that I prefer to work in. And so I moved to Fall River, which is about 20 minutes from where I used to live, but closer to a rail line that'll take me to Boston. And it's a little bit less expensive too, because I'm always budgeting, financially, trying to get a little bit more out of my money's worth, so that in case I don't immediately transition into a job, I've got savings to where I can live off of my savings for a few months as I get out there and try to network and find a job.
That makes so much sense. So, so when you go out to California, are your kids coming with you?
Nope, they're gonna stay with their mom, and I will. So we're divorced, and she's gonna have them for the time I'm out there, and then I'll pick them back up when I get back.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, thank you for your service and everything. And it seems like you're just
absolutely, thank you.
You're laser focused, and I think that's one of the things that some people have and some people don't. But David, your story is so inspirational, and I just really appreciate you for being on the call. Seriously,
thanks very much for having me. Yeah, I appreciate the great opportunity, and it was great meeting you. And thank you.
Absolutely, same to you. And have a good weekend.
You too. Thanks very much. And I'm sure we'll be in touch in the future.
This podcast was brought to you by Bannerit, the company that enhances veteran transitions by up to $70,000 in 2 years by way of education and training. To learn more, email robert@bannerit.org.